Hello, Jelly Fighters. Welcome to your Daily Brogue for August 3rd, 2021. So, we have definitely failed again. Let's see. And I definitely haven't gotten to the point where I've explained to you what I'm so annoyed with all of those dudes, the duty dudes, the dudes who don't get laid, the red pill guys, the black pill guys, and the dudes who are quitters, the guys who gave up, the men without hats, or whatever they call themselves. So, again, it sort of feels like those guys haven't really met women, and it's annoying. So, I just want to bitch about it, but I never seem to get through my bitch on this particular topic, right? The previous part of that particular video, I did get through, but when I get to this matrix the dude made, I've been having some trouble because it's a little complex why I dislike it so much. Right? The matrix, it's not so bad. The matrix itself is not so bad. It has some issues. So the previous part was a little bit better, right? He had a graph of how people were meeting each other by year, and it looked real. This part doesn't look real. This part, which has the matrix of desirability, I guess you'd call it. The monkey is gone. So yeah, this guy put together a matrix of sort of desirability to try to explain what was so wrong with the world. And I don't think it's exactly right. I mean, the numbers are made up. Some of them it doesn't matter. Some part of it does not matter that the numbers are made up. So I was talking previously about how he rates dudes' appearance, right? He says basically if you're not in the top 10%, it doesn't matter, and that's pretty much true, right? In general, women don't care. If you're not in the top 10% of something, it doesn't care. But the good thing about men is that being in the top 10%, good thing about being a man is being in the top 10% of other things still tends to make you attractive. So that's perfectly fine. Now his matrix ad, and he's just making up numbers and crap. So his matrix had, rows of how well you were, basically your job, how good a provider you are, how reliable you are. That's basically what your job says to a woman, right? Up until the point you get to, being super rich. Your job basically is just saying how reliable you are. And that's true. I mean, if a lawyer is more reliable than a sanitation worker, than a garbage man, right? I think we can generally agree on that, right? The amount of work and preparation it takes the ability to avoid certain kinds of traps based on instant gratification, right? A lawyer has shown that he's capable of planning for the future and actually executing on those plans. Two things. So that's pretty reasonable, right? That you can't blame a woman for liking a lawyer better than somebody who has a job, bagging groceries, right? Because bagging groceries is something that you could just do, right? Just got that job when you're 15 and stayed on with it, right? It's not saying anything about you. It's just the best it's saying is that you're not a complete fuck up, all right? So, that's actually not bad. Not being a complete fuck up is not a horrible thing. There are a lot of people who are complete fuck ups, right? So, I mean, that guy, he might not be really smart. He might not have the ability to plan as well as the lawyer, but he still has if he's reliable enough to keep a job for 15 years, and he's probably, pretty reliable. It's probably a reasonable thing to consider him a pretty good guy. Now, the thing that got me about the Matrix, okay, so that was the first one, is more or less your job, and I'm taking that to mean something like reliability, right? Not wealth. Wealth is a different thing. So he's talking about sort of that being a data provider. And I would say that I don't know what a data provider means. I mean, he didn't have a slash, so he didn't say beta/provider, but I would consider that a pretty reasonable slash, right? Okay, here we're going to do some jelly fighting. No reason to bother those guys worshipping. L is darkness. That sucks. M. Aggravation. Oh crap. I really shouldn't have done that. Oh. They're really angry at each other. the spark thing can see me for a long way. Okay, and so at least the aggravation is gone. Don't know what happened to all the goblins. I'm going to wait a little while longer. This is actually a secret door area. There we go. Okay, so I don't know why it thinks I want to poison that thing. Okay, I'm depth 5, no goodies. Nothing offensive as yet. Okay, there isn't necessarily anything there. Okay, so they had this matrix. In this matrix, had rows for how reliable you are, basically what your job is, something like that. I called it sort of data provider, so I'm not looking at, based on his basic definition, something that's, super high powered. Although, I mean, it's vague enough that he can change it to mean whatever he wants. Of course, right? That's the point of all this stuff. I mean, it's really just way to sort of categorize things and say, some guys are better looking than others, so they have an easier time finding women to sleep with. Which is, as you can tell, a really incredibly deep insight, right? Crap. stay paralyzed and poisoned? Yes, he does. Okay. That's the first thing I can possibly use. Alright, so what was the other matrix? The other part of the matrix was the other, instead of the rows, the columns were basically how good looking you are, right? And that, we've said, makes a little bit of sense, right? So we have rows and we have columns. Rows tell us the reliability of the man, and the columns tell us his physical attractiveness. Okay, let's see. Okay, this dude. Okay, to that dude. E. M. Recharging. Okay, well, that's good. Apply E to that dude. Apply E to that dude. Apply E to that dude. And apply. Oops. K to him. I'm going to throw the eye up there. Can I translate it, that guy? Remove B, remove D. I did right. Equip B, equip D. Not going to make it. Okay, somehow I made it. Okay, and they said, 90% of guys are ugly, basically, right? And that's true. Women think that the median man is about a 3 out of 10, that a 5 out of 10 is more or less crap. I didn't make it. All right. There we go.